Hello everyone and welcome to episode 35 of Retry. Today we're going to be looking back at one of my personal favorites, Bionic Commando Elite Forces, released by Nintendo and made by Capcom for the Game Boy Color in 2000. Sure, she has no name and no pants, but damn, it's a chick in Bionic Commando and she actually looks badass. Another generic codpiece wearing male character that isn't even Rad Spencer, so screw him, we're not going to pick him. One of the first things I'm going to show you here is one of the major differences between Bionic Commando Elite Forces and the original Bionic Commando. You see here the communications room, that's the same. But oh man, there is a sniper mode, and check it out, there is blood. I mean, this is a Game Boy Color game, and when you take them down, it's kind of hard to see, but if you watch this full screen, you will see whenever I kill one of these guys in sniper mode, there is a splash of blood. I also want to point out here, I'm not a complete spaz. The reticle actually does shake like that to simulate the wind affecting your aim. But don't worry, the classic Bionic Commando gameplay that everybody's used to is definitely here. I mentioned earlier that this game doesn't contain the original Bionic Commando hero, Rad Spencer. Because of that, it has a slightly different story. In the Nintendo, Game Boy, and then the reimagining Bionic Commando Rearmed, Rad Spencer's the main hero. He's trying to rescue his friend Super Joe and stop a doomsday device. In Elite Forces, you're actually fighting a group called Avars, and you're trying to rescue Commander Super Joe. Yeah, that's right. They call him Super Joe no matter what. All the gameplay from the original Nintendo version of Bionic Commando is all here. The Game Boy Color version moves a little bit slower than the Nintendo and the previous Game Boy release of Bionic Commando, but the truth of the matter is it doesn't really hurt the game that much. I still had a blast playing it. The gameplay is pretty much what you would expect from Bionic Commando. There's only a few minor changes. The first one being that you can double tap downward to pass through any platform that you can climb through. And that just makes perfect sense. If you can grapple upwards through a platform, why couldn't you then move downwards through that platform? The other gameplay change that you're going to notice throughout the footage here is that the character can actually pan the camera up and down by just holding up and holding down, much like the Sonic games, to discover pit traps before you fall into them or to try to look around for a ledge you can reach. This is explained early on in the game and in the game's artwork, showing each of the main hero characters having a bionic eye. The game still uses communication rooms in every level to act as a save point, a place where you can resupply different equipment, which is a great feature, so if you load it into a level without the right communicator or keycard or whatever you might have needed, you can actually go to the communications room and resupply. Also, the communication rooms are where the bulk of the Bionic Commando story plays out. You're gonna miss a lot if you just skip past that text. They usually give you tips on how to beat the upcoming boss or how to make it through a challenging part of the level. One of the things I like most about the boss fights in this game is that although they're different from the NES version of Bionic Commando, they're still very much in the same spirit. This boss in particular, you're fighting a massive generator shooting back at you. It's very similar to a couple of the boss fights in the original Bionic Commando. Another thing is, I think that the boss fights are considerably more challenging in Bionic Commando Elite Forces than they are in the original Bionic Commando. But the purpose is exactly the same. You gotta beat the boss, and then you're granted an item which aids you in progressing deeper into the game. Sometimes it's a key card, or it could be a piece of armor like a helmet that allows you to take more hits. Either way, it's usually worth it to beat the boss of every single level. The level select screen in Elite Forces is just like the Nintendo and Game Boy versions. You have your levels you can pick from your helicopter. There are also trucks that go from zone to zone. If you encounter one, you get this top-down action stage that's just like Commando, which was the predecessor to the original Bionic Commando. The hero of Commando was Super Joe, and in Bionic Commando Elite Forces you're trying to save Commander Joe, and you still have these action sequences that have been in every single Bionic Commando game. So it kind of connects it back to the game that inspired it, and that's pretty cool. Die-hard fans of the series will also know that completing these levels usually gives you bonus continues, extra lives, additional health. There's a lot of value to just running through these in between every few levels. On top of the equipable items you get at the end of each level, Elite Forces continues the series' trend in having RPG elements. Just like the other games in this series, killing enemies and collecting bullets will increase your life bar. If you look at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see 4 green globes, and that represents how much damage I can take. Shooting enemies, collecting bullets as I just did there, that's what helps you increase that bar. Think of the bullets as your experience and your life total as your level. Add that along with equipable items and improvable guns, and you basically are incorporating a bunch of action RPG elements in what is essentially a puzzle 2D platformer. In the original Bionic Commando game, you had to beat it in one sitting start to finish. Then when it came out on the Game Boy, they included a password feature so that you could pick up where you left off. Elite Forces makes the next logical step and had a battery backup system where you could save your game whenever you went to the map or beat a level. If you look at the sniper box, at the top left of it, it has a timer that tells me how much time left I have of sniper mode, and then right next to it is the number of enemies I have left to kill. I never thought any of these segments were that difficult, but the truth of the matter is, if you didn't enjoy them, you could just skip them, and that was a really cool feature as well. So they added it as a bonus where you could get more health from it, but if you didn't like it as part of Elite Forces, just run right past it. The Game Boy Color is kind of an overlooked system now, and to be honest, it's kind of a tragedy. I'm not really any better. I have not reviewed a single Game Boy Color game before this one. This game has great boss battles, a nameless yet completely badass female lead character, great music, which is a hallmark for the Bionic Commando series. You have in-game speech, and incredible character animations, which all in all make this a very special game. The game's awesome. It's well worth playing. If you've ever been a fan of any part of the series, track it down. If you want to play it though, you gotta track it down in its original format. At this time, it has not been repackaged or re-released on any other system other than Game Boy Color. Thanks for watching. For VideoGameSaga.com, this is Tony B, and I'm out. Retry? You know it.